And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us on the Doing All Right. Me and Brian Broaddus here are here with another lovely edition. We got Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for y'all. We're gonna figure it all out. We just run some stuff now. But we're gonna take a break next week because right after that, we got camp, and that don't stop. That don't stop. So, just keep your eyes open. Stay tuned in. Follow me here at Voch Lombardi. Follow him there at BRYN Broaddus. We'll be at Oxnard 29 through the 21 through the 29th in July. And be sure to look out for us here. Man, I tell you what, Brian Broaddus, man. Listen, I tell you, man. It's odd, Brian Broaddus. You virtually tapped me on the shoulder and you was talking about drinking some Kool-Aid and all that. You know what I mean? And, every day I'm coming up with new reasons about why I think this team would be much better than last year's, right? Now, Brian, Shotty got to show us. You understand? Shotty got to go out there and win games. But I'm going to come up with this metric. PFF ain't even got this metric. But it's the how much were you able to withstand nonsense? And that'll be a metric versus the weight of the games you won and lost. And you weigh that versus the actual talent of your team. I think nonsense is a metric that most teams, that most analytics don't really lean into, Brian Broaddus. But Brian Broaddus, I would have to say, Dak Prescott 2 years ago ran this MVP level campaign, right?
Sure did.
And he ran that campaign with the first 7 weeks of his season looking goofy as hell. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure did.
He ain't really figured out till after the bye week. You go, damn, boy, that was some nonsense he just went through. Brian, I was thinking about my offensive line, you know what I mean? And I was trying to figure out, is it going to be better or not? Somebody on Twitter, I forgot who said it, but they was like, man, if we can get this Cowboy offensive line to at least be the 2023 offensive line, we'll be good to go. And I think about the nonsense that Cowboy offensive line had to withstand last year, whether it be coaching, two rookies, Zach Martin being hurt, some of your undrafted guys got
somebody not being ready. One guy not being ready.
Just not ready at all. Terrence Steele, a year removed away from the ACL, but of course he'll be 2 years removed from it this year. It's just certain nonsense you got to grade, Brian Broaddus. I have those things written down when I'm thinking about why I'm so into the Kool-Aid, Brian.
Right.
Brian Schottenheimer, he got to win, Brian. He got to win games.
Yeah.
But him not hiring these 90-year-old coaches, and the Duke Manyweather article that Garrett Powdell did from CBS Sports, the Duke Manyweather article, Brian Broaddus, it stamped it for me. It stamped it for me. This thing revolves around coaches. Coaches matter. We've had the talent this whole time, Brian. Coaching matters. So if you say, Voch, why are you drinking this Kool-Aid, man? Why are you so positive on the Cowboys this year? It's all those things I mentioned, but it just seems like where we were incompetent, we just seem a little more competent now, Brian Broaddus, whether it be coaching, personnel, and you can only imagine like playing the right guy, like not like starting Zeke week one or some nonsense like that. But limiting the nonsense is why I'm drinking the Kool-Aid here. And I think it's easy to limit that nonsense. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I want to know why are Cowboy fans drinking the Kool-Aid? And we get to this point in time of the season or the off season, and I'm already talking with my man Bucky Buchanan, the equipment guy, about Bucky, I need my stuff on the truck. Can I bring it by to you? Can I get it? So I'm in that mode now. You're in that mode now. We're getting in that mode. But why are we drinking the Kool-Aid? Why? I mean, and I think your point about coaching is well taken. I might flip it though and say I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid because of coaching.
Okay.
Because I don't know. Is it better than, is the coaching potentially better than what they've had here before? Damn right it is.
Yeah.
Damn right it is. It's got a shot.
Yes.
But there's some unproven pieces in this coaching staff, namely the head coach.
And Brian, please.
No. And I was going to say, there's this side of me that I'm so happy to drink the Kool-Aid of they went out and did something different.
Mm-hmm.
They went out and they didn't hire friend of
Yes.
whatever. And it, and I didn't, Mike McCarthy, and I'm kicking him in the ass. I always do it, but here we are. I do like the approach that Brian Schottenheimer's taken. Drinking the Kool-Aid, drinking it. I put the glass down now because I'm not sure.
Yep.
I'm not sure. Okay, I could look at the Arizona Cardinals and see running game. But I see it with, James Conner and, a quarterback and all, I can see it. And am I enthusiastic about that? You're absolutely right. But there's a side of me that doesn't know. That does. And I've come on, you and I've had this discussion a couple of different times. I don't know what this scheme is going to be. I've talked to people over the 4th of July while you and I had a little break there. I said, what are we going to do here? What are we doing? Well, kind of like a gap scheme, where and I'm like, oh, so no, like outside. So, well, we're going to, but the way that we look at our team is a gap scheme team, and okay, well, that bodes well for if you're a fan of what the Arizona Cardinals are doing. Yeah. One of the bigger gap scheme teams in the league. So is that a hint? Do you have gap scheme personnel? You're the old O-line coach. They got gap scheme personnel? Yeah, they do.
Sure do, bro.
Running backs for gap scheme?
There's 2 or 3 of them,
Yeah. So to me, that might be, I'm like, I got to figure this out. Drinking the Kool-Aid because I love the newness of the coaches.
Sure.
Putting the glass down because, damn, I hope it works.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure these things out. I'm like the old Bob Seger song. I'm working on mysteries without any clues.
There you go.
From the Night Moves. But I'm just trying to kind of figure these things out because when I get to camp, I want to be able to identify like, oh, I see what they're trying to do here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I'm excited about the coaches. I am. It's a breath of fresh air from what we've seen in the past here when it comes to hiring these coaches. But there's also a side of me that's like, boy, I hope this works out.
You're absolutely not wrong about the.
And I hate riding the fence, and I ain't trying to ride the fence.
Sure.
I'm excited. I'm excited about new coaches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thrilled about maybe these are going to be some of these guys' first time in NFL battle.
You're not wrong about the uncertainty of the staff. But I will say, every coach that was on Mike McCarthy's staff.
Yeah.
Every coach that was on Mike McCarthy's staff.
No gigs, right?
It ain't like they agents had a long list of calls that they had to get back to.
Yeah.
Mike Zimmer's a good friend of the show.
Yeah.
But he was on the couch kicking it and his rent was due. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Shotty wasn't in demand as an offense coordinator. He was kicking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was doing stuff. I don't want to say no more names because we cool with some of the people. But my point is those guys weren't in demand.
No.
Brian, was it not a bidding war for Clayton Adams? According to the rumors, you know what I mean? Didn't we have to reach out and put some money in a brown paper bag and make a promise to get him? Like, hey man, we'll dig this money and promote you. We'd love to have you. That means to me, Brian, it was some other teams that was interested in Clayton Adams.
Sure.
Eberflus was in that same range that Dan Quinn was.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, head coaching, and look, Quinn didn't got back on his high horse, but head coaching is different from coordinating. We know Flus gets busy as a coordinator. Even in the back end of the Bears administration, when Flus decided I'm going to call the plays on defense again, the defense was looking better. Brian, I wasn't in Jerry's office or Jerry Jr.'s or Stevens or Adam, but I'm sure Matt Eberflus had options. I'm positive Eberflus had options. We know Connor Riley had options. We know these guys have options. So that means the Cowboys have acquired some of the best in the business here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's Connor Riley, Clayton Adams as offensive minds versus Solari that was coaching with Landry. That's not in demand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Eberflus versus Zim. Shotty gonna be calling the plays, but Coach Adams is respected here.
Yeah.
Versus Schottenheimer coordinating and Mike McCarthy making wide receivers run upfield and turn around. So you're not wrong, Brian. But that goes back to my nonsense index, right? Can you overcome the nonsense? And in my mind, dog, there was so much nonsense last year, and the Cowboys still looked respectable. Even Cooper Rush starting some games and won one or two or three for you, however many it was.
Yeah,
that's considered nonsense as well. So you can only imagine. We just knocking on wood for 4, man. We just knocking on wood for number 4. You can only imagine he plays, everything else works out, Pickens don't crash out on nobody, and everything just, hey, we don't have to overthink it, Brian. We don't have to overthink it. Clayton Adams ain't got to coordinate the best offense he's ever coordinated in his life to where he's nervous about it. Flus to call plays before, he's fine. But just simply don't start Zeke week 1 and have us running dragon concepts, hitches, and slants all day.
Yeah.
And that offense that was nonsense was still, 17, 18? Yeah. Get that offense to top 11 or 12 and just be service. Sure. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Flus, stop the run, dog. You ain't got a long list of things to do here. Stop the run. And let your talented guys go be talented. You ain't got a long list of crazy things to do around here, Flus. So that's why I have confidence in them. We don't have to reinvent the wheel to be great here, because the Cowboys were solid while overcoming nonsense. There's much less nonsense here, and they may be young coaches, but the path there is clean to me.
Yeah, the thing that two things, and I. If we get out to Oxnard and we get into that first practice and Clayton Adams is actually the offensive line coach and Riley is okay, you go work with the tackles, I'm going to take the inside 3. Mm-hmm. Now I want Clayton Adams coaching.
Sure.
I want him. I don't want him to be a walk around guy, and I want him coaching at least his first year. I want him to work with Riley, and I want him to get him acclimated. Like, this is the way we're going to do it, bro. This is what we're going to do. I'm not interested in Clayton Adams standing back there with you and I and then letting him just coach it how he wants to coach it. No offense. But if this thing is going to be, hey, we're legitimately going to try and run the football here, and this is how we're going to do it, give me the OC up front coaching this offensive line. At least for the first year. Give me that. I'll feel a lot better if that's the case. And nothing against Riley.
Sure.
But if I want to see, now, Eagles, Jeff Southland, coached at Alabama, college coach, came in, hit the ground running. We could only be so lucky if that were to happen to us with our coaches.
I think go.
No, but I just think that first year, you've got a lot of coaches that haven't been through this, which is cool, but there's going to be some times where it's going to be about a game, and and I want Clayton Adams, I want him in there, in the middle of that. I don't need him upstairs, with Will McClay and I need him down there on the on the field when they are legitimately talking about they are trying to take this away from us today, and we need to adjust today, and this is how we're going to do it today. That's where if I go out there to Oxnard and I see and I start to watch these guys coach and how they coach, that will make me feel 1,000% maybe better, or they bit off more than they could chew. Sometimes having inexperienced NFL coaches will work out for you. Sure. I mean, I was with the staff there at Green Bay, the Andy Reid staff, the John Gruden, Steve Mariucci, very minimal experience. But Mike Holmgren was, they had some veteran coaches, veteran NFL coaches. So I am taking yes, as I've said before, yes on the Kool-Aid for the newness and putting the glass down because I want to see how it's going to be coached. I want to see how it's going to be done.
Let me tell you what's so dope about this setup, Brian. Let's just talk about Clayton Adams for a second.
Yeah.
Clayton Adams does have two jobs. As offense coordinator, and he's like the bona fide O-line guy. Let's just keep the buck here.
Let's go.
Now, Clayton Adams got a black belt in O-line, so I ain't worried about that at all. He is a brand new offensive coordinator. But this is where, and we keep adding to the Kool-Aid, Brian Bros. We keep adding to this. This is why I'm kind of cool with Clayton Adams being a young coordinator. Because Schottenheimer's calling the plays.
Right.
And regardless of what anybody thinks about Schottenheimer calling the plays, he's got 30 years of experience doing this.
He sure does.
At least. So if you Clayton Adams, it's not like we just throwing you to the wolves to do a job that you've never done before.
Right.
He'll be working in tandem with Schottenheimer.
Right.
In which I feel really good about that. And in terms of Connor Riley coming from college, cool. His big homie is Clayton Adams on the offensive line side.
Right.
So he can lean on Clayton Adams if he needs some help here. It seems like all the new guys got an older guy they can just lean on a little bit.
Well, yeah. See, this is where I hope.
Please.
This is where I hope that all of a sudden Clayton Adams becomes running game Moses, Bill Callahan.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
This is where if you told me what's the best thing that can happen to the Dallas Cowboys this year is that Clayton Adams becomes running game Moses, Bill Callahan.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then now I'm drinking buckets of Kool-Aid.
Yeah. For sure. Hell yeah.
Because I've been with Bill Callahan a couple of places. And you talk about a difference maker that way, and the fact that he could click over on the headset and tell a Jason Garrett or tell whoever was at the time I was with him in Philadelphia, Bill Callahan, John Gruden would click over on the OC and say, Bill, what are you thinking? And Bill was able to convey, this is what I want. This is what we need to do right now. Yeah. We're having trouble, but this is what we got to do right now. If we get to the point, I shouldn't say that. If the Dallas Cowboys offensively get to that point where Clayton Adams is become a Bill Callahan type of a coach, and he's working with Brian Schottenheimer in a way of don't call that play again. We can't block that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
If we get that kind of relationship, a back and forth, and then also get Riley upstairs, maybe being a guy that's like he's telling Clayton Adams, hey, man, they're playing us a really heavy shade. BB's fighting his ass off, but he can't quite get over there. We got to do something different. We got to cut our splits. We got to do something to help there. Yeah. That's what we need. Say we again. Dallas Cowboys need Riley talking to Adams, and then that message going right to Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah.
And maybe this is why you hired Matt Eberflus, because you let Matt Eberflus go call defense.
Yeah.
You let him, like, you don't have to be, like, if you're Brian Schottenheimer, you don't have to be standing next to him like, what are you calling?
Sure.
You don't have to be. You could kind of, okay, hey, I've got to figure out some things scheme-wise offensively. Now, I tell you where the ideas the young coaches are going to help, like your wide receiver coach and stuff like that. Coming from Oregon, it's going to be, well, we ran this route with this combination. And we clicked this thing open because that's where new ideas come in.
Sure.
So I am all about Kool-Aid offense, but I need to see the mechanics. I need to see how this is going to work, because I have a feeling I know how the defense is going to work.
Sure.
Because he brought all his guys from Chicago.
Yeah.
He's got guys from Chicago, so they know what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But offensively, this thing has to be different.
Sure.
It has to be different. And if the best thing that can happen is that the offense line coach becomes running game Moses, Bill Callahan, and Bill was good pass blocking and run blocking. But some of the best lines that we've had or we've seen for Dallas Cowboys, Bill Callahan was doing the number.
Yeah. Also, too, Brian, just in terms of Clayton Adams as an offensive, coordinator, there's another assistant offensive mind in that room that we haven't talked about that's going to greatly benefit him.
Mm-hmm.
Get my button ready. That's Dak Prescott. That's Dak Prescott. Just imagine, right, hypothetically, all right, Tom Moore retires and you get to go in and be an OC for the Colts in 2002 or something or whatever, right? Hey, man, you got dudes around you. You got, like, assistant coaches, and Peyton Manning will carry a big load in this thing. Honestly, too, Brian, I think Dak Prescott having more control is a part of the shoddy package. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that because I work at a building now, so I ain't hear nobody say this. This is Voch, the YouTuber, saying this. I don't think that, Dak got, big control like that to where Jerry said, hey, who you want, right? But I do think that Schottenheimer said, hey, man, look, dog, I'm about to go interview for this head coaching thing, bro. Let me tell you something. I know how Mike McCarthy did it. I hate it. I know you hated it. Both of us had to shut the hell up. Let me tell you something. If me and you get this thing figured out, if I can if I can pass these interviews, if I can get past these other guys that they talking to, the new Cowboys offense gonna look like this. And I assume Dak turned into one smiling character, because when Dak is talking about it at these press conference availabilities, Dak smiles talking about Schottenheimer. I bet you. And if I had to bet, Jerry may have went to Dak. Well, Dak, what you think about boom, 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 boom? You don't make the decision, but what you think about boom, boom, boom? This is Vashelli what I think, Brian Broaddus.
No, I don't. I don't know. I don't know how Jerry or Steven or Will could not ask a question of Shoddy of what would you do different? How do you handle the quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle the quarterback?
Dak had glowing remarks for Schottenheimer. Please, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Well, no, and you're probably in a situation where, like, if you're Shoddy, and I don't disagree with you about him and maybe having a conversation with Dak, but I think that, to me, Schottenheimer, to get this job, probably went in there and said, listen, you guys used to come in those Monday meetings and ask some good questions.
Yeah.
Why we did this, why we did that. And we didn't come up with some very good answers for you.
Yeah.
We did not come up with very good answers for you. That's about to change.
Yeah.
That's about to change. So if in fact that there is the collaboration of Shoddy, Dak, Clayton Adams, that's where this thing needs to start.
Yeah.
They need to figure out, like, okay, is our quarterback going to be mobile? Yes, no. Do we want our quarterback to play the shotgun a lot more? Yes, no. We got anybody competent that can run the football?
There you go.
Especially if we go inside zone stuff. If we go gap scheme stuff. Do we have somebody that could do that? We might. Okay. This thing does not need to become stumbling out of the gate. It just doesn't. It does not. For the good of the team, they need this offense to be humming from the minute it starts. And if in fact it's Dak, Shoddy, and Clayton Adams, let's go. But they've got to prove that they could do it. But I guarantee you, Shoddy got this job by telling the Joneses exactly what the Joneses wanted to hear. You know, how do you fix Dak? How do you fix? Well, this is what I would do. And Shoddy, we've seen Shoddy. He's got a good line. Shoddy stands up there in the media and wows us, and we're like, and I'm not calling it a BS situation, but he's got good gab.
Yeah,
he does. Well, Jerry, this is what I would do. First off, we did too much of this. We really didn't, Yeah. And I'm sure Shoddy was like, got into the conversation where it's like, listen, we didn't get Ted McMillan. But what do you think about if we go get George Pickens? Yeah. You're damn right, go get George Pickens.
Yeah.
You're damn right, go get George Pickens, because this is what George Pickens will do for us. Please, Shoddy, do everything you're trying to plan to do. Don't look at this and go, well, we can't, please don't. I mean, don't talk a big game and show up and don't do shit. Try to do things that if you're stealing ideas or new ideas, whatever you're doing, let's go. Do that. Use your coaches, use your staff, use what creativity you might have. Because if this thing goes out there and it's a 23rd or 24th ranked offense,
it's over with.
It's over with.
Yeah.
It was the wrong idea. It was the wrong, and I know, and people go, damn, Brian, it was 1 year. Nah, you've got some offensive linemen. You've got 2 big time receivers. Yeah. You got a quarterback that's 9 years in the league. Yeah. That's your job. It's Schottenheimer's job and Clayton Adams' job and Linda Wells, all their jobs. Yeah. You can't go stumbling out of the gate on this one. You can't. And if we get to training camp and all of a sudden it looks like it's stumbling out of the gate kind of thing, please don't let that happen. Please don't let that happen. So that's why Kool-Aid, I drink the Kool-Aid for the coaches because I like it.
Sure.
I like new coaches. I'm putting the glass down because I'm not really sure. But I am open to the idea of continuing to drink Kool-Aid if that's what helps. If that fact that they're going to take advantage of the players that they have.
I'm not putting that damn glass down, Brian Broaddus. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad we had this discussion. Put us on record.
Well, real quick.
Please, hell yeah.
Real quick.
Please.
You're not drinking the Kool-Aid then for the secondary then, are you?
I think the secondary will be fine. I think coaching matters there too. I've seen teams in the playoffs with worse secondaries.
Sure.
Worse pass rushers. You know what I mean? It's just that, you have to play a team effort, and that sounds corny and cliche, but you got to play team defense. If you look at the Bills roster, they're not drastically more talented than you. You know what I mean? They're just there. They play good team defense. They just play cool enough, Some defenses got more names than you. The Ravens probably got more names than you. Eagles, if you want to say that, but I think you just as talented as the Eagles for real. Just coaching matters. Coaching matters, play calling matters, and situational game plan stuff matters. You can't expect your defense to be great when your offense is struggling for 2 quarters,
right?
Because they run on the field and turn around.
I loved what you said earlier today about nonsense.
Sure.
This team does not need any nonsense.
Overcoming the nonsense metric, Brian, bro. Overcoming the weight of nonsense. It matters. Yep.
It matters.
Because, Brian, how many times have we gone into a season and we get the new schedule and we go, the Cowboys can play with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys are talented enough to play with anybody, but nonsense happens. I think if you overcome the metric ton of nonsense that happened last year, and I think the Cowboys have done that so far this offseason, I think they'll be fine. I don't think they have to climb a mountain to be good this year. I think they're very much so talented enough. They just got to cut the fat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to say nonsense. That's a great. I love the metric talk about that.
Metric nonsense. Yeah, there you go. Metric nonsense, Brian Bros. Think about it. Think about what these other teams go through, man. They don't, they may not be as talented as us, but they don't have a whole bunch of nonsense around them. Just a whole bunch of what you mean? We sitting the best running back this week to get Dalvin Cook involved. What you mean? What you talking about? What you like? Okay, we drafted a left tackle and a center to play. Why they with the third team? Ain't nobody else doing that. Why we doing that? You know what I mean? Why are wide receivers running the field and turning around? What's going on?
Yeah,
you just gotta overcome. And the minute you don't have to overcome nonsense and you get to just play football and it's the better team versus the better team. Oh, Brian, what you mean? Yeah. What you mean? Our defense jumping out of their gaps to try to make a play? What you mean? What you mean they playing hero ball? What you mean Micah and D-Lock leadership styles are clashing right now? What you talking about? What you mean?
Right.
You got to overcome a bunch of nonsense, man. Tyler Guyton healthy and he not playing? What you mean? What you talking about?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? The damn offensive line coach don't like to start in right tackle. Once you get over all that, football easy then. Football easy. And I think the Cowboys have done a fantastic job of cutting down on all potential nonsense this offseason.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I hope so.
We'll see.
I hope so. I hope so because like I said, I really do want to believe in a lot of things. And maybe I believe in some things some positions that people don't believe in. I think they're going to be. And there's probably some positions that we're pretty keen on, and maybe those positions don't show up as well as they need to be. But this coaching absolutely needs to matter. It needs to matter, and especially needs to matter on the offensive side of the ball. You cannot waste Pickens and Dak and Lamb and Turpin. And I know Turpin got a little trouble here. Yeah, and by the way, I asked somebody in the organization, I said, do you feel like that maybe you're going to lose him for a game or two because of this? And my guy said, we don't know. So, maybe there's a conduct policy that, but anyway. But yeah, they please let this coaching staff figure this thing out sooner than not later. I don't need it to be later. I need it to be right off the jump. I need to see it. Yeah. I need to see it when I go to practice and you and I go to practice on July 22nd. I need to see it. That start. I need to see that's a damn good practice. I need to see that.
Remember that one time Kellen was beefing with Mike McCarthy and Mike McCarthy alluded to running the ball more and Kellen ran that mug 9 times in a row. What you mean? No setup and then he just running the ball just to be petty. What you mean? Well, once you overcome that stuff, we good to go. But I tell you what, the Doing All Right podcast ain't got a whole bunch of nonsense going on, Brian Brothers. We going up, you hear me? We going up, and we only getting better. We'll update y'all as we go. Y'all follow me at VOCHLOMBARDI. BRYN Broaddus is where you go to get those updates. Everything's gonna be coming in fast, so y'all be sure that you're followed in.
It's good. It's a lot of this. The next 2 weeks are big. You and I are tomorrow going to go look at a 75-inch screen to do some telestrations and stuff. I'm really excited about that. But man, furniture ordered, my conference table ordered, equipment ordered. I mean, it's all going to come in. It's going to be like a big old jigsaw puzzle. I did get a picture of you from I took a picture, and it's actually you're the only picture in other than my 1970s Cowboys pictures that I have are the black and white Voch Lombardi picture. I know how much you appreciate the black and white picture of you. So yeah, I'm going to surprise you with that one. So anyway, but yeah, no, everything is moving along really, really well. Super excited about it, and man, looking forward to, like I say, we got a couple weeks before camp. A lot of things going in, and then my guys are staying behind and putting things together, be ready to go. So when you and I get back, we should be up and running. Excited about all this.
Sounds good, boss man. And y'all be sure to stay tuned for those updates. You had one more thing? I saw you waving.
Yeah, real quick. And by the way, too, we're doing some of the taping stuff too, that, with the shows and stuff, but we tested the live stuff. Voch was nice enough to do a show live today. So the website handled the live test very well. So Thank you very much for doing that, sir. Appreciate your efforts.
Ain't no problem, man. I was just gonna be kicking it on the couch, man. But I was like, all right, Brian, need a live, so let's go live and talk about some stuff. So let's.
Well, I appreciate doing that. Our website handled it very, very well, and it's everything is really cool going that way. So it's super exciting. Again, it's every day. I know when it starts to put together, I'm just put out movies of how things are looking right now. It's a big, beautiful room, but there's a lot of pieces that are coming into that room here in the next couple of weeks, and I'm excited to be able to put it all together. Really, really, really am excited about it.
Sounds good, boss man. And we will catch y'all tomorrow morning. All right, please.
Yeah. One more thing too.
Hell
Tuesday,
yeah.
I'm going to grab us a guest. Hang tight. I think I got somebody. We'll do guest. We'll have a good Tuesday guest. How about that?
Brian Broaddus will have an interesting guest for us, so you gotta hang around so you can see what the hell going on. All right. We love y'all. Anything else, Brian?
I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you. My bad.
Hell no. People need to know this. You know what I mean? But we'll give to them.
No, I'm good. Again, I keep interrupting.
No.
People always say, "All you do, Broaddus, is interrupt Voch."
Let me worry about that.
So
let me worry about that.
So I'm all good. I'm all good with that. Thank you.
We good to go. Till next time, y'all. Crown.